Thank you, friend. Shabbat shalom and greetings to you all. My apologies for being so late this week. I've been on the road and I did not have internet service for much of the time. I'd like to send my thanks out to Sherry and Sky, and Shelley and Steve for their kind words and thoughts. I so do appreciate hearing from you. Whenever you take the time to email or call, I hope Margaret has a great birthday. Congratulations to Mallory on the acquisition of your new home and on your upcoming wedding. There is little as lovely as a bride. And it was a real treat for me seeing Baruch Ve'elka Brett, my friend Bob, a true pioneer, my Guinness Book of Records holder. It's always special seeing friends, new and old, our real family, our loved ones who are there when we need them. Whether we knew, or not, you do not have to ask. It is always so great seeing those who serve as examples of the beauty of humanity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love spending time with people, and I try to never underestimate the ability of humanity to rise above the fray of day-to-day turmoil in creating a setting where people could talk about their range of feelings and fears, providing a supportive and productive environment for us all. Why can't we all work together to do so? And speaking of safe environments, I saw a report on the news and an interesting article in the paper about a new scientific discovery of 7 planets orbiting a star in the constellation of Aquarius. Well, it is the new age, the age of higher perspectives. Anyhow, my wife said, should we go? And looking around, I'd have to say, it sounds pretty good to me. But when I read the article, it said, scientists have discovered a remarkable cluster of planets resembling the core of our own solar system, but better. 7 Earth-sized worlds, each potentially capable of hosting liquid water and therefore life in orbiting around a nearby star. Wow. A couple of things really struck me. The fact that it said, capable of hosting liquid water and therefore life. I was immediately struck by the ego man. Did they not mean life as we know or understand? Certainly our definition of life does not define all life, does it? Life is far more than we understand. Do not underestimate the great Earth Mother. We saw the extent and power of all of creation back in Genesis. Never forget that everything of this cosmos, of this earth, has a soul, has life, whether it's the way we understand it or not. The earth screamed when polluted by the blood of Abel, and I bet it still screams today at some of the things it sees, hears, or feels. And thank you so much, Nanette, for the sacred time you spent with me. You are the fountain of knowledge, of supportive, kind, empathetic, caring, and a pioneering lover of great music. And I hope that everybody had a great President's Day in the U.S. and a Family Day in Canada. I love when suddenly a new holiday appears. Have you ever thought how cool it would be to be the person who gets to pick the day to have a holiday? And how do they decide when it should be? And do you think it's the same person who gets to name it? Or do you think that responsibility gets shifted to some complete other division? And what a great job that would also be. Do not forget, 2 of the biggest Jewish holidays were based on lot casting, or a roll of the dice. One was determined purely by the roll, and the other named for the key solemnization. And speaking of those, the first is Purim, from the ancient Akkadian word pur, or lot, for the day determined by casting a lot. And it's coming up in less than 2 weeks. The night of March 11th, March 12th, we'll talk more about it next week and the week after, a night devoted to pure revelry and intoxication, when you can be anyone you want to be. So start thinking now, who would you like to be? And why aren't you that person now? Now, as I've said, I've been away this week, and it's been a whirlwind of activity, of seeing wonderful people, all of whom I do not see enough, but are always in my thoughts and in my heart. It's a wonderful reminder of the community we all form together. So let us come together and invite everybody, physically or spiritually to gather and share from Psalm 133, Hine Matav, inviting everyone to come together. Hine Matov, Manai, Shevetachim Gam, Yachad, Hine Matov, Manai, Shevetachim Gam, Yachad. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. All together. No division, no lines, no barriers. We should come together as a natural thing, not as an unnatural, only in crisis thing. So let's all together take a moment to express gratitude, renew spirit and energy with and for each other. Take time to be thankful for all the miracles of our lives, our health, our happiness, our families and friends, and the great love that envelops us and everyone we know. Let us share that goodwill and love with those in need and send out energy, help heal all those in need of healing and renewal, this time of hope, of peace, of light. Remember, sending goodwill, love, peace, and thanks, it's such an easy thing for you all to do, to transmit energy to everybody you know in need of love. And so everybody that you want to send energy to, call out the names for whoever you know. For Bob, for Brad, for Ellen, for the Bee. And for all of you, for love, for renewal of spirit, the kindness, healing, wishes, goodwill, and love you all send out. Circles the world finding those in need. So thank you, each of you. Send out all the love and goodwill that you can. Be Shabbat. Makor ha-bracha Limotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. And let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all have our spirits renewed. We all need renewal. And maybe after last week's incredible public address by God and the epiphany on the mountain, we're due for a little lunch bag letdown. Well, friends, this week is it. We go from those incredibly simple rules that govern all aspects of life to mishpatim, a list of laws, rules, regulations, and judgments. And the rest of the Torah pretty well follows suit like that. Don't want to judge nobody. Don't want to be judged. Don't want to touch nobody. Don't want to be touched. Don't want to hurt nobody. Don't want to be hurt. Don't want to treat nobody like they was dirt. But if you do right to me, baby, I'll do right to you too. You got to do unto others like you'd have them, like you'd have them do unto you. Now, it's not called the Golden Rule for nothing. It's got really good reasons for that. You know, there's only a few things of note here in this parsha. The oddity of a newly freed people, freed from slavery. And the first thing they're given is a list of rules regarding their slaves. It just does not fit. But what I want you to keep in mind is that the Torah did not try to bring about the end of slavery by telling people to abolish it. Instead, what it established were principles regarding slaves' dignity, rights, and treatment. You see, this whole section is actually devoted to decency and dignity and humanity. Something the world seems to need just a little bit more of these days. Now, you'll also notice that all the rules you're going to read are actually based this way. And so morality is woven into the very fabric of law. How rare is that? Now, I just finished telling you to look for morality and decency, and you're going to see that we have here the first mention of the lex talionis, the law of retaliation, in Exodus 21:23, and we'll certainly examine it far more in Leviticus where it comes up again. And if there will be an injury, then you shall give a life for a life. And if there's a mishap, you shall pay a life for life, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a hand for a hand, a foot for a foot, a burn for a burn, a wound for a wound, a bruise for a bruise. And it just seems so out of place, so much so that our sages try to explain it away by saying it really was pointing to a monetary penalty, even though that's not mentioned anywhere. We're also going to see the first hint about sanctuary cities, which we're going to read about soon. Something in the news quite a bit these days. And you only get a glimpse of the genius of them here and the specific purpose that they served in antiquity. Places of sanctuary for people who've committed involuntary manslaughter, and therefore it was designed to ensure there's no vendetta justice. The members of a family bent on redeeming the blood, ge'ulat adam, of their dead kinsmen. Even if the killing was unintended, they would not be permitted to penetrate these towns of refuge and take revenge. And with no vengeance killing, the goal was that fair trials would actually take place. Not a bad idea. Now, I don't know how it translated into modern times, but during the Dark and Middle Ages, it was represented by the church being a place of sanctuary, as so beautifully pictured in Victor Hugo's Hunchback of Notre Dame, among other books. We even in this parsha get to see how a biblical word became a Yiddish term commonly used. Now take a look at Exodus 22:30. And you shall not eat meat in the field that is torn, you shall throw it to the dog. Well, there's a couple of things about that. You're not supposed to eat, carrion, even though that is what man ate for the longest period of time. Meat that is torn. Now, the Hebrew word for that is terafah, which ended up in Yiddish becoming treif, which represents now any prohibited food. So you get to see some origins of things that are there. Now, there's all kinds of strange laws listed. One of the strangest of the laws listed in Exodus 22:17, you shall not let a witch live. Just stated there, just listed out of the blue. And yet, interestingly enough, the text does not deny that magic works. On the contrary, the Egyptian magicians can turn staffs into snakes and serpents. Instead, this part merely in one sentence forbids the practice of magic. I'm wild again, beguiled again, a simpering, whimpering child again, bewitched, bothered, and bewildered am I. Now, what a great song that is, recorded by the Velvet Fog himself. What a name. It's like a bad superhero, but an amazing singer. Beware Samantha, and I guess Jeannie would be caught by that too. The Torah's treatment of magic is an amazing topic of its own. The list of rules that you're going to read here just seems to go on and on, but it's really only a beginning to what you're going to be reading. And some of them are explained absolutely nowhere. Now, you can read them, so I won't go through them all. But notice that it's not just the rules, but the terms used when listing these laws. Speak badly of your parents and die. Lie with an animal, be put to death. Sacrifice to gods, be completely destroyed. Die, death, completely destroyed. You know what? Better to avoid those ones. But like I said, there were good rules too, ones that served the underlying decency of man, and they just don't stand out quite as much as those. There's no charging interest to God's people. There's no persecution of aliens or strangers, one of the most important laws, along with do not degrade a widow or orphan. If you do, God will kill you with a sword. Now, you might have thought he would just strike you down with a lightning bolt or plague, but a sword can be pretty effective. Now, notice again, the laws have gone beyond simple legislation. They are intertwined with ethics and morals, and they emphasize dignity. There's a whole section on not keeping the single cloak of somebody at night because they may need it to cover themselves. It's all about dignity, my friends. Soul of a nation under the knife. Death is standing in the doorway of life. In the next room, a man fighting with his wife over dignity. Dignity. We all need dignity, and these laws are all designed about giving people dignity. These laws are all about protecting the widows, the orphans, the downtrodden. They're not as strong in wording as the ones that say die, death, and all the rest. But these are what these rules are really all about. The downtrodden, the indigent, the least favored, the common man. Throughout biblical literature and even today, these are the classic cases of powerless members of society who are vulnerable to exploitation. And the Torah sought to protect them, and we should have inculcated that into our souls, and we should be protecting all these people. Now, another fantastic piece buried in this parsha serves some mention here. It was mentioned earlier, and it wasn't really talked about, and it's a further warning about joining crowds or groups or gangs that are negative. It's easy to be hurtful in a group, and it's easy to keep silent when one's group does harm, or when its leaders do harm from their position, which derives its power from the group. All of this is forbidden. Freud wrote a brilliant paper on the danger of the mob. We lose our identity and our own personal sense of morals when swept up in the mob. And boy, there seems to be a lot of mob mentality these days. Now, it's not always easy to find decency, compassion, dignity, equality in the laws. But the lesson from this point on is in decency, in helping, in showing no discrimination. One must be of help. And it says, even to someone who bears one ill will, perhaps especially to someone who bears ill will, because then you can break, the energy of that ill will. Exodus 23:9. And you shall not oppress an alien, since you know the alien's soul. Because you were aliens in the land of Egypt, you know the alien's soul. Now this verse, commanding not to oppress an alien residing among Israel, repeats a commandment that has already been given just a little earlier, in Exodus 22:20. But it says it even more eloquently. You have been aliens, so you know the alien. You know how he or she feels oppression inside. You know the soul. Few of the laws in this code have an extra line of explanation like this, all about the morals, the ethics, the dignity of man. And we end with Moses ascending the mountain, and Moses entered within the cloud. The terrifying gap between Moses and the people is beautifully registered here. They tremble down below, seeing pulses of consuming fire from within the cloud. On the mountaintop, Moses actually enters the cloud and continues his discussions with God. Yes, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light. Live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone. An end to terror and hatred, my friends. Remember, we are a community. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share this right together. Men and women equally, let us send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, good healing to all who need it. And please do Learn to forgive and learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy the journey. Take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Send healing, goodwill, and love to all who need it. Share your holiness and your kindness. Now bless you all. Have a fantastic week. Week of love and light. Week of peace and healing. For you to honor the people of your life and honor the journey you are on. Honor yourself. And friends, keep your eyes open to what you may not be seeing and keep your ears open and listen to the world around you. Remember, this is an organic book. The lessons, the laws, the ethics, the ritual, they change with the times. It's how it stays current, relevant, new, meaningful in your life, and continues to provide us with insight and with answers. Remember, we set in motion all that happens in our lives. Our intention, cause, our effect, everything's linked. As I said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have that knowledge within you of what is good and bad. So acknowledge what you have done to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness. Do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you. Be forgiving. Be compassionate in life. Do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. It is in sight. Keep on dreaming. Keep on being. Keep sharing. Keep shining. Keep teaching. Keep spreading your holiness. Do not follow fear. Follow love. It's always there in front of you. Remember to have faith and unwavering adherence to principle, just as I have faith in the principle of love and in all of you. Remember to act with purity of heart and mind, despising none, defrauding none, hating none, cherishing all, honoring every child of God, every creature of the earth. Now may all peoples know peace in this year, and may you nurture kindness and love everywhere. Now we're entering the wilderness together, my friends. We will help each other every step along the way on our road to freedom. And while we do, continue to work on yourself by being present in your body and by expanding your heart, quieting your mind. Anyone who wants real change finds a way to work all three at the same time, because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness and the ability to be present in all circumstances. Be mindful. Now continue to believe in the magic of decency, of goodness, of humanity. Turn your dreams into your beliefs and your beliefs into reality. When I look out my window, many sights to see. When I look in my window, so many different people to be, that it's strange, so strange. Gotta pick up every stitch. Gotta pick up every stitch. Gotta pick up every stitch. Must be the season of the witch. Must be the season of the witch. Must be the season of the witch. Give love, my friends. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone because someone is always there for you, whether you know it or not. Be happy, be healthy, be kind, be loving. I look forward to seeing you all next time. Until then, Shabbat Shalom and blessings to you all. Take care. Bye.